as youngsters gather to discuss an industry
Hi everyone.
being young CXOs, a platform where students thrive to learn from.
Hi everyone, welcome to the individual contributor versus leader dialogue. What is the difference between an individual contributor and a leader? And this is what we're going to discover at the end of today's dialogue. I mean, the Indian education system is based on individual performance, right? You write exam, you study alone, you write exam alone, and you get scored based on what you do alone, right? You don't collaborate. If you collaborate, that's called copying. So you're taught to do things alone. So that, and in case you help somebody else in preparing, your rank comes down. So you taught to be selfish, to just take care of yourself. Then suddenly you come into the corporate setup, and then your HR comes and tells you this collaboration, we're going to assess you based on your collaboration and all of that. And then like, what the hell is this? This is out of syllabus. So how do we help more youngsters turn into leaders from individual contributors, right? So that's what we're going to discover today. I mean, at Deep Thought, we're doing this experiment where we help a lot of youngsters start their leadership journey. We have this concept of micro leaders where youngsters are given the opportunity to be a micro leader, where you assist a team leader or you lead a small team because you're showing initiative and you're showing that alignment with the culture. Some of them do well, some of them have challenges. So, but the ones who do well are picked up and are given, bigger leadership opportunities. So there have been people who like been leading, gone up, fell down, and again leading, again falling down. So that's like the typical curve here, right? Which gives the youngsters the opportunity to rise, take a break, rise, and so on, which will add to the overall leadership pool. So today we have some people with us who've led, and one gentleman with us who's going to lead for the first time from Monday. And hopefully all of them will have different versions to offer to us around leadership. And we also have one gentleman who's not led before and is a micro lead now. So it's very different versions we get to hear from everyone. So before we start the dialogue, I'd like all of you to go in with a quick introduction and what has been your experience with the concept of leadership so far. I mean, what are your thoughts and what were your experiences around leadership? If you'd like to share that with the audience. So quick 30 seconds, all of you. Who wants to go in first?
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah. Hi everyone. This is Saurabh. I am currently leading a student unicorn lab, which takes care of recruitment. So my journey as a leadership has been quite fun. Like I have rised and I have fallen, like as many of us have here. And it's a fun, that's why it's challenging. It's not just linear thing. Like you go up and you are leader for forever. So there are always challenges there. And that's where you test yourself and that's where you push yourself. Like how can I become better version of myself? You are competing with yourself, and and while competing with yourself, how can you empower your team? How can you give them that free hand so they can become the next leader? So that's what leadership in a nutshell for me. And we'll discuss in elaborate as the discussion goes on. Thank you.
Thank you, Saurabh. Who wants to go in next?
So hello, this is Manish, and I am currently in Student Unicorn Lab, and I'm currently working on how we can improve our students' intake and those things.
You're the lead Blue Ocean Lab from Monday, no? You're not going to tell
Yes. So yes, I am going to lead Blue Ocean Lab from Monday, and for me, leadership is like when I first became micro lead, it was scary. Then over the period of time, you figure out things, and that leadership is all about figuring out, and from those figuring out how you grow. The growth is great, and when you see your people also growing with you, that's a great feeling to have. Thank you for having me here, and let's discuss leadership now. Yes.
Yeah. Thanks, Manish. Who's going next?
Yeah, can I?
Sure, Tushar, please go ahead.
Yes, hello everyone. I'm Tushar, and I am a member of, I'm a leader of Self Actualization Lab right now. And in my case, I have had a lot of differences in the definition of leader itself. Like in the past 3 to 4 months, I have had a lot of different experiences, and they've taught me what leadership is about. Like for example, today itself, like I had a better understanding of leadership, which was not being that individual contributor, because I think that in the past few months, I have been having that experiences, like those challenges being an individual contributor, not being able to empower people. But now I realize that when you empower people, you don't just empower them, but they empower you as well. So a leadership journey is about going along with them and making sure that everyone is doing well. So yeah, I hope to have a better understanding of it via this ST tip.
Thank you, Tushar. Who's going next?
May I?
Yeah, sure, Somita.
Hi, I'm Shomita and I have been a part of Value Lab. So for me, the leadership journey is about leading your team from the back, being empathic, having empathy for your team, and learning and learning from your mistakes. So these are my journeys. I'll be learning more from this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Somita.
Can I go next?
Sure, Mervin.
Hello, everyone. I am Mervin, lead of Impact Team from Deep Thought. My journey cannot be explained in 30 seconds because I had such a journey of being in different teams in different week as a micro lead or a team lead. But one better thing is that I got learnings from most of the people here in this link to be the better leader. And I think we'll get to learn more about that from today's session.
Okay. Thank you, Mervin. Yeah, Ryan, please go ahead.
So I am currently the micro lead of Blue Ocean Lab. And first, when I became the leader, I was very scared to get into uncomfortable situations. But later on, I understood that if I get into uncomfortable situations often, then I'll be comfortable with those situations. So that fear will be like vanished. And I'll also gain the skill of the leadership. Like why? Oh, and one more thing I was told during the time of my leadership, and when I failed, is that you'll be a good leader only when you keep on failing, and you'll experience it. Keep on failing and you rise. Like in the beginning, you will have to fail and you will have to learn from those lessons. Yeah.
Thank you, Ryan. I'm sure that's inspiring for a lot of people who are listening to you right now. Who's going next?
Yeah, I will go.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, I'm Mohit Jikotra. Yeah, so currently, so I am a front-end developer here, and on a path to become a full-stack developer. And from a leadership point of view, I have been a micro lead. I have also been a team lead, and currently I'm an individual contributor, in Student Unicorn Lab. And from next week, again, I am going to be, group lead for product researchers. So yeah, I mean, the main difference which I felt from in the when first time I was told ki you are going to be micro lead for this team, and now and today I was told ki again I am going to be group lead. The difference is there is no scare factor there, right? The first time I was panicked ki okay, I'm going to be micro lead, what I will do, how will I do? But now, as I have the data about what not to do, and now there is no scare factor. So I think that can make a lot of difference, right? Because not fear to fail is not there. I mean, that fear is not there. So I think that itself makes a lot of difference. Yeah, so I mean, hoping to do a lot better this time. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you,
Can
Mohit.
I-
It's like you're echoing Ryan. Yeah, over to you, Shawan.
So myself, Shawan. So I work with the Student Unicorn Lab and Blue Ocean Lab as a group lead. So and talking from leadership perspective, like as Saurav rightfully told that the journey of leadership is not a smooth one, but you always have ups and downs. Same is with me, but I mean but in some factors it's a bit different because I never thought I was a leader, but I somehow discovered it. So forward to this discussion to discover more. Yeah.
Thank you, Shawan. Yeah, over to you, Anaka.
Hello, I'm Anika. I'm right now part of Blue Ocean Lab, and before I used to, lead self-actualization lab as a micro lead. So there we used to work on emotions of others. And I believe in companionship, and I used to spend few time with the team members, so getting to know what they are feeling. So had a little interaction with them so that I can tell them what I want to communicate in a better way. So that was the thing I was focusing on when I was a leader. So whenever we explain a task or discussing about the things that we work on, it will be better if you have a good communication space with them. So yeah, that is my leadership journey, I can say.
Thank you, Anaka.
Hello, I'm Fardin Kamal. I'm a backend developer here. And to be honest, I never wanted to be a leader, or I always feared this leadership. This sound frightens me. But I learned a lot. I mean, things have changed now. I'm a micro lead in COE lab, and from next week, I'll be a leader on Rigor lab.
Okay, so hope things keep changing for you, Fardin. What you? Who's going? Yeah.
Yes.
Dinesh.
So I'm Dinesh and I got the opportunity to help our team lead. So I'm the micro lead of Rigor Lab. And leadership for me is realizing the amount of impact that you can make with people.
Okay. Thank you, Dinesh. So now we'll move to this format. I'll keep asking questions and we'll take responses of up to 3 people. So Dinesh, if you wait till you go last, you will not be able to speak. So for each question, I'll wait for up to 3 responses. Right. My first question is, what do you see as a common point between running your team, right, as a software team or a startup team? What common point do you see between running a startup team and a sports team? What is the common point between running a startup team and a sports team? Yeah, Tushar, go ahead.
In a sports team, you don't go with them, to play that sport. You just teach them and they do that thing for you. But in non-sport,
being a leader of a sports team and being the leader of a startup team, what difference? What common point do you see?
okay, in a sports team, you motivate people, and the other one you empower them to, whatever you teach them as well.
Okay. Yeah, Manish.
So one common we have is you feel that rush. Like, okay, your all teammates are there and you are playing all the field and you can see what player is doing what role. In like we had a discussion today morning about the same. When you know what the other person is doing, you can judge the game more precisely, and then you can make the game according to what you want to play next. So that's the common thing. You can feel the rush, what's coming.
Rush. Okay, that's a nice articulation, Manish. Thank you. What do you, Samita?
So one thing that is common between both of the cases is you take a lot of time to discuss, brainstorm, and plan for something. So in the team as well, you will be planning for the entire week or entire month. And for the team of sports team, you will be planning for the month or planning for the specific game. So there a lot of time goes on strategizing and planning.
Okay, thank you, Samita. Over to you, Anaka.
It is like, how can you guide them from starting to finishing point till you reach the finishing point without losing the track?
Okay. In a sports team, do you guide your whole team from starting to ending?
Yeah, we can make them a strategy how to. There are some people who lose their track in that sense.
But isn't it very chaotic? How will you, control the course of the game? The game is beyond your control, right?
Still, you can give a guidance.
But the guidance changes, right? Because the situations change, right?
Okay, step by step.
But the steps are going so fast that you may not be able to control the flow of the game, right?
At least you will get to know what to do next if you lose the track.
But by then the game is over and you've lost it.
Yeah, in the game, a lot of improvisation happens on the ground because you can't predict.
Okay, can you as a captain have a say in that improvisation?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there can be some decisions that individual players will have to take on their own.
Correct. So when you know there are decisions which the individual players will have to take, what is it that you will want to do as a captain?
Give them the freedom.
Okay. But how do you ensure that those guys are taking the decision in the best interest of the team? So do you try controlling the whole team all the time? What happens when you depend on control to, win, make your team win?
Give them a chance to explore as well, not being there all the time.
Are you giving a chance? Are you giving a chance, or is that the natural game? Are you giving the chance, or is it the natural game is my question. Like, let's say you're playing soccer, right? You're playing soccer. So are you giving a chance for everyone to play their game, or is that how the game is?
It's okay. Yeah.
So what happens when you try to control the course of soccer?
Everyone will be kept waiting for like what you want to say, and by then the lot of things have changed. You games out of your hand.
By then the ball is in your own goal.
Yeah.
The team is in your court, and then they score.
Yeah.
So then you want your individual players to play the best formation, right? So you're saying you'll have a strategy, you will tell everybody the strategy, but what if something unexpected happens? Do you want your strategy to be fluidic? So then you want everyone to know their roles really, really well. Why?
They can have their own backup plans. They are really clear about their role.
Exactly. One mistake a lot of leaders make is they try to micromanage everything. And I hope it's not surprising that good sports players become good corporate leaders. Because sports teaches you how to lead. Sports teaches you how to work with people. Again, let's say you're playing cricket, right? You're the captain and two batsmen are batting out there in the pitch. Can you have a say of how they play every ball? Right? Let's say there's a sudden bouncer which is coming. The batsman improvises and plays well. Would you be against it? And is the batsman is the best one to take a decision there, right? Okay. So I hope now we see the similarities. Now I have a question. How important is courage? How important is courage for a leader? Okay,
maybe the most important thing as a leader was a leader who has to take the decisions. So in that case, and decision taking, decision making is a thing of courage.
Why do you say decision making needs courage?
It may be right or wrong, but you need to take that decision. If you don't take decision, like the water will flow.
You'll definitely be wrong. You'll definitely fail if you don't take a decision. If you take a decision, you may fail, you may lose. But if you don't take a decision, you'll definitely fail.
Yeah.
Over to you, Tushar.
So as a leader, you get this opportunity to delegate tasks to your teammates. Now, when the task has been delegated, it's their responsibility to get done with the task. Now, if they are not done with it, then it again falls on the leader. So the leader has to have the courage to ensure that the team gets done with it.
Why do you need courage?
Okay, because if the courage is not there, then the review process would not happen properly.
Why would you need courage for review?
Okay, because we want to have the data, like if the work has been done or not.
For the data, why
and if you do not have the courage. Okay, because the other person, because the team members, they might not have the data. Like the outcomes that they come up with, the way they present, they might not present with data. right? So, but you want the data, the leader wants the data. So to ask for that, you need courage. Maybe.
Okay.
Like we need courage to ask tough questions to our teammate, and those tough questions require your confidence level to be okay. At the same time, not offending, but it's required. This tough question need our courage, and the equal part is about trust. You need courage to trust someone with your thing, and now you are making them accountable for your accountability, which you face to the company or the main team.
You're making them accountable for your accountability. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Dinesh.
Yes. So building upon what Saurabh said, taking decisions. So I feel courage is needed to take a decision, even though to try out something new, even though you might succeed or fail.
Okay. Thank you, Dinesh.
Also, to empower people, you have to have that courage, because only when you have that courage and confidence in yourself, you'll let things be the way they are. Unless, like, if you don't have confidence and you are always worrying about yourself and the team, you'll keep bothering in that. That's what I feel sometimes.
So I have a simple question. What happens to the team when the leader doesn't have that courage?
Team also doesn't have that courage.
Why? What if the team has courageous people?
They may become submissive by looking at the leader, because leader inspires, like, in maybe in positive or negative, but it may happen.
Okay, I have a simple question.
They
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Ryan.
they may be courageous, but they won't be aligned with each other.
Why? Good point. Why?
Because everyone will have their own point, and if the leader is not able to make the point that should be followed, am I making sense?
Okay, you're saying courage is needed to drive coherence. So all of them are cohering in one stream.
Yes.
Okay. I have a question. What if your team has one fantastic person who's super committed to the organization? The person is super committed to the organization. The person believes in the vision. The person is a very nice human being. Everyone likes this person, but the person lacks courage. What happens if you promote this person as a leader? Is it okay? The person lacks courage. The person is super committed to the organization. The person is a very good contributor, has been contributing well, and the people like the person. But the person usually has, a lot of courage issues. What happens when you make this person a leader?
He will burn himself out.
Okay. He or she will burn.
Yeah, he or she will burn.
Okay. Yeah, Samita.
In such case, the leader would not be able to execute some plans or execute some new ideas well, because they won't be having the courage to initiate something. So the execution may fall apart.
Okay.
I feel that the current execution might fail as well, because if people are going on tangent without courage, they will not. The leader will not be able to correct the team as well.
Okay, what if this person is very good at writing documents and giving documents to people, breaking tasks and giving small tasks to people? What if this person is very good at project management?
In the case, is the person not good at people management?
Okay, let's say what if the person is good at talking to people? The person is good at making people feel good and all. The person is good at project management, but the person lacks courage.
So you mean courage in sense of making decisions? Is that the courage we are talking about here?
Yeah, courage in making decisions, courage in going and speaking, courage in putting things out.
Okay, if there is a problem, the problem might become a big problem, a stagnated one.
Okay, problems can blow up big. Why do you say that?
Okay, because I have.
You have experienced something. Okay.
It's like
one thing could be there.
Yes, Shamata.
Here. Okay.
So for leading a team, some decisions need to be made, right? So if the person does not have the courage, they will feel afraid to, make some decisions that will be greater good for the team, and that could make angry, that could make certain people angry as well. So if the person does not have the courage to take those decisions, so the team will be stagnant, those decisions won't be made, and ultimately the team will fall apart.
Okay, yeah, Tushar.
Yeah, if there is a lack of courage, then the leader would not be able to manage the behaviors of the members. And if the behaviors are not managed, then they will go on tangent, a lot of tangents, there will be a lot of problems and won't be able to solve them. So, more
Okay,
problems.
I have a very, yeah, Ryan, please go ahead.
Also,
Can I-
he or she might not be able to take risks.
Okay, yeah, Shavan.
With adding up to Ryan's part, actually, I mean, everybody takes credit of the success, right? But it takes a great amount of courage to accept the failures too. So that's a huge point, actually. Like, you can take the team forward, but what if there are certain moments when you actually fail, right? That's the greatest. I mean, that's your test of being a leader.
Absolutely. That's like pure gold. So I have a different question for all of you. Let's say there's an example where there's a leader who's not having much of courage, and the team is not understanding the purpose of why they exist as a team. Do you see a correlation? The team members do not know why they exist as a team, and the leader lacks courage. Yeah, Tushar.
Since leader does not have the courage, they would not be able to show the purpose of the team to the team
Why?
members. Why what?
Why?
Why the leader wouldn't be able to show the courage?
Show the purpose if the courage is a problem.
Yeah.
If courage is a problem, why they can't show the purpose is my question. So how easy or how tough? Yeah, go ahead, sorry. Go ahead.
Showing the purpose is like, again, it's about having that vision. And for having that vision, to like go against society and to think that big, to have that bigger vision, the thing of courage. And when you have that courage, then only you can like have that vision, and then you can show the purpose to your
What if you
team.
have the vision but not the courage?
Yeah, but then it will be difficult. It may be difficult for you to achieve that vision like with your team.
Why?
Because you for a vision like you it's difficult for one person to go and achieve that vision. You need a team for that. Right?
Fair enough. You have the team already. What's going wrong?
Yes, so aligning that team to your purpose and your vision may become difficult if you don't have that courage.
What if they're aligned? What if they're aligned to the vision, but they're not able to see the big picture? Why?
Thus the team lead is lacking courage, not able to like take decisions, so that impact the goal they are trying to achieve, and that decreases their motivation. Like they are not able to see the impact they are creating.
Okay, guys, I'd like to show you a very different perspective, which all of you brought in very interesting perspectives, but then I'd like to show perspective. If you've seen any war-oriented movies, right, and you see a war general speaking, right, the war general is like, "Mera veer jawano," right, and all of that, and the way they speak, right. Or if you see how a director directs actors, right, the way a director tells them and says that you helped this person so much. For the last 10 years, you helped this person. You sacrificed everything for yourself and helped this person. But today, this person doesn't have any gratitude for you. This person has completely forgotten you. You went through so many hardships to help this fellow, but still he forgot you. Now that fellow is standing in front of your eyes. How would you tell that person that you're hurt? Imagine, right? And how the director goes and gives a brief to the actor. And suddenly you feel like director ki bhai aap camera ke samne nahi ho. You're not in front of camera. Why such a big performance? Now, why do you think the director goes to that levels to go and brief the actor? Why? Why does the director go to that level to give a brief to the actor? Yeah. Anyone?
actor is sync with the scene, what emotion the person need to bring out in that scene, and now the actor can visualize what happened and what emotions should be coming.
Visualize or a word stronger than that? Yes, Amita.
So when the director is already showing them that how to act in a certain role, so this same thing is igniting the emotion. He is trying to touch and connect to the emotion of the actor, so, to bring out the acting of the person. So it's touching the emotion string.
What does a great actor do? Act or
They
Express.
just
Live
behave
in the
according
scene.
to the situation.
Live in
Huh?
that. Live in that.
Lives in the moment.
great actors live in that character? They live that character. So what happens when you narrate this way?
They're able to relate to that situation and they'll get to immerse in that situation.
It's
Yeah.
more natural.
They feel like it's their own story.
They get into that character. Exactly, Saurav. They feel it's their own story. They get into that character. So now again, why is a war general shouting "Veer Jawano" and all of that, right? Giving speeches कि दुश्मनों की खोपड़ी को तोड़ देंगे and all of that, right? So कि अगर इंडियन आर्मी जाएगी तो पाकिस्तान की पूरा बॉर्डर्स को बदल देगी and all of that. Why do they keep saying things like that?
Motivating the team as one and giving them the power, showing them that they have the power to do it.
Okay.
It's the dream which is driving them. It could be that which they can make it real. It's there, but you can make it real.
So again, I'll go back to what Saurav said. When you're having a vision against the status quo, you want to change what is the norm in the society. You want to change what is the norm in the society. Society has inertia. Society resists change. What happens when there's that resistance for the change? You need a lot of force to go punch that inertia and get in, right? So now as a leader, when you have that energy and you're able to show people that energy, what happens to the team? Boom, right? So now do you want the leaders to bring that constant energy where they say that we can do this, right? Guys, this is what we're going after. We're going to change the global education system, or we're going to change healthcare system, or we're going to change Indian agriculture, or we're going to change consumer behavior. We're going to improve the lives of people. Do you want that to be reminded to people again and again, like the war general? Now, what happens to the morale of the people when they're reminded again and again that we're doing something really awesome? People believe they're supernatural. People believe that they're amazing. People believe that they can go do it. And what happens when they believe they can go and do it?
They do it.
Now, when you have a leader who has courage-oriented issues, and the leader doesn't talk this quite often, people fall apart. That glue, leader is a glue, right? Who's holding everyone together. That glue falls apart. Now, a simple question. Now, what if you really want to be a leader? What if you really want to be a leader because you want to serve? What if you really want to be a leader because you want to serve and you want to create that impact? And you're seeing that you're having some courage issues. What do you think you could do?
Get out of comfort zone.
Okay. Great, Fardeen. Great to see you get out of the comfort zone and speak. Well done. What else? What else do you recommend to people?
First,
Go ahead,
understand why.
No, let him speak. Let him speak. Let him speak. He's come out of the zone. Let him speak. Yeah, go ahead, Fardeen.
Try new things. Like everything has a starting, and I mean, don't be afraid. I mean, the things we never tried, it seems like impossible or very difficult. But when we try it for the first time, or like, then it becomes easy. So, you should try everything.
Right. So now we spoke about courage. Now we have about 14 minutes left. We'll discuss a few more qualities of a leader. But one very important thing for a leader is courage. The second thing is, what if you're a self-centered person? Can anyone tell me the difference between being self-centered and selfish? What is the difference between being self-centered and selfish? Yeah, Samita.
Selfish person is someone who wants their own good and they are ready to destroy other person, and they don't want to see other person's good for their, and that's what gives them happiness. And for a self-centered person, they don't just care about any other person's good, or if any person is getting benefited or anything good is happening to them or not, they just care about their own. I think that is the
So
difference
are
between the
self-centered
self-centered person.
self-centered people bad people?
Not necessarily.
So as I was mentioning in the beginning of the dialogue, our education system makes most people self-centered, subconsciously self-centered. We're not aware, but we think only of ourselves. But we got to slowly come out of ourselves, right? The transcendence in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the transcendence becomes important, where we come out of ourselves and see it from the shoes of the other person. Now, what do you think you could advise to somebody who's being self-centered? Some people have challenges in being leaders because they're self-centered. They only think of themselves. They struggle to see it from the other person's point of view. What would you advise to such a person? Yeah, Samita, go ahead.
The suggestion could be just be empathetic. Try to work on their shoes as well. See if they are also facing some problems.
Right.
Another thing can be like exposing yourself to the literature that talks about a larger self than yourself. So like exposing yourself to like the stories through movies, through books, or like any that can help us.
So see, usually some people who end up becoming self-centered are because of a lot of pain in personal life. When you go through a lot of trauma, you end up being self-centered sometimes. But for somebody who goes through a lot of pain and trauma, which usually is most people, what I would say is, look, when you go through a lot of trauma, you can either get into victim mindset or victor mindset. You can either be a victim or you can be a victor. When you're a victim, you go into a shell. You only think of yourself. You find it difficult to relate with other people. You find it difficult to listen to other people. But you become a victor that breeds a lot of empathy within. Pain can make empathy easy. When you have the pain, you can feel for others. A lot of times help comes because you felt that pain within. Because you felt that pain within you, you are willing to go help the other person. Like if Fardeen has felt that pain of, going and speaking. If he sees somebody else having difficulty in going and speaking, Fardeen will not think twice before going and helping them get that courage to speak, because he feels that pain. He gets that pain. So the pain can either make Fardeen go into his shoes and say, I'll not help anyone, I'll not lead. Or the pain can make Fardeen a fantastic leader because he's like, boss, I know what you feel. I'm here to help you, which will make people relate to Fardeen, trust Fardeen, and he can make a fantastic leader. So likewise, when Dinesh is having some challenges, he can either play a victim or he can play a victor. He can either say, I'm a victim, I have these problems and I will not speak. Or you can say, I'm a victor. I've gone through this. I know a lot of people are going through this. Let me go help them. Maybe I'll empathize with them better than Tarun does because Tarun has not gone through this. That's like playing a victor, right? I see that some people who are self-centered because they've gone through a lot of pain. But I would say, if you've gone through that pain, can you channelize that pain into empathy, as Samita said? Can you channelize that pain into empathy? Because you can then uplift so many people. You can empower so many people. But I think the most important thing when someone is self-centered is to recognize that you're self-centered. Because the moment you start recognizing that you're self-centered, you start making conscious attempts, like as Saurav said, start reading books or start talking to people, start understanding what people feel, just spend more time listening to them. You start doing things, you start looking for solutions at least. I think the first step for somebody who's self-centered is to get out of denial. You get out of denial, life gets easier. I see some people are ICs because they're self-centered. Some people are ICs because individual contributors, because they do not have that courage. Now, another thing I see is leaders require that project management, right? That capability, that competence. Now, what happens when the leader is a good people person? The leader has courage, the leader has empathy, but the leader doesn't understand project management. What happens then? What happens if the leader doesn't have the project management capability to break things into tasks and give it to people, assemble them back, see them become the output? What happens when the leader doesn't understand project management?
Then the people will burn out soon.
Okay. Anyone else?
The team won't be aligned.
No, what if the team is aligned, but the only project management is? Alignment isn't there, aligned to the vision.
Outcomes won't be there.
Okay. And what happens if the outcomes don't come in?
I mean, in an organization, team is there and the vision is given to bring out the outcomes towards the vision.
Okay.
And if the outcome, it's like the purpose, the existence of the team is also questioned.
Okay.
So it's like if the leader is good with people and but they're not able to contribute, and it's not escalated also because they're not feeling that they're feeling safe with him, with her, or the leader, with the leader, and they're not escalating because the person is like they don't want to hurt the other person. So that gap of communications comes in, of mutual understanding, or it could be the other way around. Team tries to break it down for him and he or she learns from team. So the team help the leader to understand how that project can be carried from now on. There could be both sides. Rapport is good.
Yeah, sure.
And adding to Manish, right? So you know what to achieve, but you do not know how to break them down and delegate, right? So what happens? You are not aware of whom to assign what, and your resources are like, for example, if there is a weak resource, right, and you're assigning him the bigger task, so what happens? Things goes all over, and you actually do not get any outcome. So it's good to know who's the resource and to whom you're assigning what. So you can only know that when you have a proper project management plan ready with you.
So what happens is when people trust your vision and people feel inspired and the outcomes don't come in, people get demoralized after a point of time. So ability to get the outcomes is also very, very important. Because end of the day, the biggest motivation that people get is when they see the outcomes. So if you want to be a good leader, how important is competence for you? How important is project management for you?
It is the most important thing after courage.
And why do you say that?
Because I feel courage is the most important. Because you you need to, you would actually want to take risks and understand, like support the vision. For supporting the vision, you would want courage, and for executing the vision, you should have you would have to have good competence.
Okay. Yeah, Mohit.
Yeah, I mean, courage will help you to make the decision and initiate the project, right? So that's the first phase. But when you have decided what to do, right? But then comes how to do, right? Then execution comes in place. So when your project management is in place, then only you can execute it well, right? So I think the second step is project management after courage, because courage will only help you to decide what to do.
Okay. Now, another question is, let's say you have the courage, you have the empathy, you can relate with people, you have the project management. What if you do not have that bigger vision as a person? If you don't read much about economics, you don't read about the global economy, about the geopolitical situations around, and you don't have a good overall awareness of how things happen, how does that affect your team? How important is your personal knowledge as a leader? Yeah, Dinesh.
I think vision enables you to be on your path for, until, let's say, at least you achieve it, whereas you might fall apart in between if you don't have that vision.
Okay.
Understanding this like bigger picture like provides you the context to work in, right? So like if you consider like deep thought is not working in silo, the difference is working in between like the Indian economy. So having and that is also influencing our decisions. So and if we can understand like what role do we play in the economy and what role does the economy play in our taking the decision. So you can make better choices and more intelligent choices if you have that bigger understanding of the world.
Okay. Yeah, Samita.
Not having the bigger vision will impact in the decision making process. Whatever decisions you are taking for any point of time of your execution, this will impact if you don't have the bigger vision.
Yeah, Tushar.
Yeah, maybe by not having such a vision for yourself, you'll be stuck in a loop wherein you, let's say, had a failure or made a mistake. Then you just think in relation to that specific thing, right? Like you do not make any progress. Even if you solve that problem, then what, you might face the problem once
So
again.
let me ask a very different question since all of you are saying this. Let's say you had a very big problem on the personal front. You suffered a lot on the personal front, so the empathy comes to you naturally, right? You connect with the problem very naturally, right? But let's say you don't have a lot of knowledge about that space. Would that affect your vision for that space? Let's say you've experienced a major health situation, right? You've experienced a major health problem. So you want to go do something in the healthcare space, but you don't have much knowledge there. Does that affect your vision?
Yes.
Let's say you are a victim of the school education system. You want to change the school education system, but you've not read much about the global economy. You've not read much about philosophy of education. You've not read about pedagogy. Does that affect your vision?
Yes, I mean, like if you have personally dealt with something, to that gives you the feelings which are required. But when you don't have the knowledge, then you don't have the data, right? So I mean, taking the decisions according to feelings may go wrong because as a
But what if I'm teaching a lot of kids for the last 10 years? What if I've taught a lot of kids, I've impacted a lot of kids, just that I don't read?
You might like the person might have, but if the person like has the larger understanding of the like larger educational philosophy, the efficiency and the change they may bring in might be quite efficient and quite faster, because they'll have the broader perspective to like execute certain things or to have that vision.
Yeah, Tushar.
Also, by not having that knowledge, you would not be able to understand the problem in a better manner. Like you wouldn't understand what's causing that problem, so you wouldn't be able to work on it, and then the vision would not
Big.
See, you'd have a broader vision when you have a, broader. See, people talk of depth, but I think breadth is very important. And I don't know why nobody talks about depth. Right? I mean, broad thought is as important as deep thought, right? So, and if you ask me, I'll quote what my professor told me at ICER. When you're young, don't worry about the depth. It'll come with time. Worry more about the breadth. The depth can always be acquired where you're interested. What is more important is the breadth. Breadth is something which is tougher to acquire. Because as you get older, you'll stop showing interest in a few fields because you would have acquired depth in a few fields. Whether you like it or you don't like it, you end up acquiring depth in a few fields. So when you're young is the time when you can get that breadth, is what a professor said. And thankfully, his words inspired me to pursue a bit of social sciences, humanities, liberal arts, and a lot of things. So today I'm thankful that I've explored a few things early in my career, which made sure that I don't get confined to a few fields. Breadth is possibly more important than depth for a youngster, unlike what we make it out to be. So when you have that broader perspective, right, you know how to think from the frame of the society. You know how to think from the frame of the economy. You know how to think from the frame of politics. You know how to think from the frame of science, from the frame of technology. You have so many lenses to look at the world. So what happens when you have that clarity of thought? That clarity of thought directly goes into the team and it impacts the morale of the team every day. Because every day you can drive that clarity into your team. So if you want to be a fantastic leader, would it then be important for you to start reading scholarly articles of different fields? I see Fardeen starting that. He just nodded aggressively, and I know why he did. On LinkedIn, I see him reading a lot of good perspectives, right? I mean, I follow people on LinkedIn, what they read, right? So whenever people read good stuff, it comes in my timeline. I see that. So I mean, now I'd like to, step back and ask you, what are the thoughts you gathered through this entire discussion? What do you think can help somebody move from an individual contributor to a leader? What do you think can help people move from individual contributor to leader? We'll listen to all of you and then close the session. Yeah. Who's going first?
Yeah, can I go?
Sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, what I have learned is, not just sticking to where you are right now, but having the broader vision really makes a difference. And it's not only on the thing that you're working, but bringing in different things, right? Different structures from some outside stuff and implementing it there. Because with time, you will find yourself in some situations where your existing knowledge might not help you. So it's always good for you to broaden your knowledge so that you can bring in some structures in your system that would make it more efficient. So I think, yeah, that's my takeaway.
Brilliantly. I mean, very well articulated, Shravan. Who's going next? Yes, Samita, go ahead.
To be a better leader, the first thing is courage. So after to be a leader, once you have the courage, then you have to get the competency of your job and not have. I mean, the next thing is the competency of your job. Then other thing is having a broader vision. And for all the youngsters, having a broader vision is way more important than getting in depth, because when you will be getting older, the depth will come automatically. But having a broader vision will not only just help you to execute your personal task, but as well as execute your bigger goal, bigger vision as well. You will be able to take the right decisions that will help in the holistic growth. So this is what I'm taking away from this session.
Yeah, thank you, Samita. Who's going next?
Yeah, I feel the same, that courage is the building block on which all the other parameters can be built upon. Because if you take an example of empathy, you have to have that you have to be a very courageous person to have that empathy, because you are not thinking about yourself, you're thinking about others. And similarly with like having broader perspective, because there also you're challenging your own ego, your own self to go into those broader broader angles. And again, like same with the project management. Because in project management, you like always have to do something that intimidates you. Then only you can become good project manager. Because it like when you say a larger project, it scares you. It scares you. But then you keep your calm to break it down, and then you can only execute. So I personally feel that courage is the building block on which all the other aspects can be built.
I mean, amazing, Saurabh. Who's going next? Yeah, Manish,
For
please.
me, it was the self-centered part, because I feel I'm self-centered a bit, and yes, and at a certain time it's all like it will be only me. Okay, I'm thinking about me, and what I think from now, like what I think, if you want to conquer world, because Alexander conquered the world because he had those general with him who helped him conquer this world. So if you are a self-centered, you can't conquer because you need a team, and that team help you when you share your vision and you share what you want and how they can help and what they can achieve believing in your vision. So yes, if you want to conquer, you need to share, and you need to think beyond yourself. You need to showcase what does they have in with your vision and those things, what they can conquer, what dreams you can conquer for them. That was my takeaway.
Thank you, Manish. Who's going next? Yeah, Tushar. Everyone is bringing a very different flavor here. Yeah, Tushar.
Yeah, so I would say, as a leader, there are a lot of people who become like who are dependent on you, dependent on each other. So when you're not self-centered, it becomes your responsibility to ensure that they are not dependent anymore. And for that, you take decisions and make choices. And in that case, to make those decisions and tough choices, you need the courage. Hence, as Saurabh mentioned, it becomes the fundamental of everything. To empower people, to make them independent, you need that courage. And once you do that, once you have those choices and stuff, when like all those knowledge are gained from broader exploration of different ideas, which you can later on like share to other people as well. And once they get exposed to all those, then things just work out.
Sure. Thank you, Tushar. Yeah, Ryan.
So if I would want to advise like any individual contributor to become a leader, I would just say them to not afraid to fail, because if you are afraid to fail, you're probably going to fail. And you need to be more empathetic. Like if you're going through something, and like after some time, if the other person is going through, you need to understand and empathize with that person, and have the courage to actually help them, not just thinking about themselves nicely, but take some action. And also just acquiring a lot of knowledge and putting your ego aside, just exploring multiple things for your vision.
Thank you, Ryan. Yeah, Naka.
Being a leader is not about being a perfect person to show them. Like you should be ready to fail, as well as even if you fall, should be ready to rise up and get to correct what went wrong, get to realize what went wrong. Also, even if you are able to show the vision to people, if you lack the knowledge, you might fall apart again. So a leader should be able to show the vision, need to be courageous. Also, with the knowledge, that person has to, able to show them, show them how to achieve that goal.
Thank you, Anaka. Yeah, Mohit, what do you?
Yeah, so everyone who is trying to be a leader, but like I feel is try to gain as much as knowledge as you can as early as possible, right? Because one thing is you learn from experience, right? But one thing is when you try learning history, when you try learning different leaders, right? how they lead people, right? So there are many patterns that you identify, right? And that will help you in a lot of situations where you know that in those situations in the past this happened because of this particular thing, right? So you may be able to connect so many dots just by having that knowledge, right? So yeah, I mean, that will help you in a lot of things. And having the knowledge does give you a confidence, and that will basically help you in that courage thing also. So yeah, I mean, that's what I would like to say.
Thank you, Mohit. That was a fantastic articulation. Yeah, over to you, Dinesh.
Yes. So to be a leader, I think anyone can start with the thought that yes, I want to be a leader. And I think that requires courage. And I guess even like having that vision in place requires courage. And I feel all of us have had our, ups and downs, right? So can we all channelize all our pains into empathy and yeah, like can we start with exploring and like increasing our like breadth. So yeah.
Sure. Thank you, Dinesh. I think it was a fantastic discussion where a few aspects of leadership were discussed, because every time when we discuss leadership, right, the discussions are so very romantic, right? Don't think of yourself, think of everyone, and all the Jay Shetty, Sandeep Maheshwari kind of conversations come in where too far away from reality. But today, I think what was interesting is we discussed some really challenging on-ground kind of perspectives, right? What practical difficulties you're going to face if you are a leader, and some of them are even candid in admitting that, hey, I had this problem, I'm going to overcome it, and this is how I'm going to overcome it. That made it very exciting. Yeah, Mervin.
Yeah, so I had my reflection as well, like 2 pointers. One is that I don't know why people think that courage is the number one. I think in the opposite way, because either empathy and courage goes on parallel, or empathy comes one, because sometimes empathy can be the reason why a person loses the courage as well. So I might have a separate discussion with the people who had thought that courage is number one. And another point is that it's not that individual contributors don't have that vision. They have that vision and they drive for the vision. But the only thing is, a leader is not a person with high end power, but a person who makes sure that everyone is going towards the vision. And that is the only difference between the individual contributor and the leader. That is what I came to know through this discussion as well. And I wanted to share that.
Brilliant articulation, Mervin. So I think we've had some conflicts, right? Like the latest one being, is courage number one, or something else number one? That itself is a conflict. And if you're having conflicts, that's nice, because that means that you're challenging what is being said, right? Which means you're trying to get into the practical reality, and you're trying to equip yourself to face those situations. So it's a very interesting discussion. But again, I do believe that a lot of aspects have not been touched upon, and hopefully next Saturday we can pick them up, especially project management, because how do you align people? How do you review people? The art of reviewing is a very, very important aspect for leaders. So hopefully we could touch upon that next week, right? How do you do proper reviews, right? What are the good questions you ask in reviews? I think that can be a great discussion, which we could have next Saturday. Thanks a lot, everyone, for joining in. It was a fantastic discussion.